There are certain things that everyone should definitely do to their heating system now, as this is the only way to keep it running optimally and prevent it from consuming unnecessary amounts of energy. You can actually save a lot of energy with these little tricks. Let's start with the inside of the heating system. A lot of dust collects here. You can simply go over with the hoover, but you won't get the dust out of the inside. But you can always remove the top part. Either you have a small screw at the top where you can loosen the side panel, or if there isn't one, like mine, then you can push it upwards. Now you can take it off to the side and then remove the upper grill. And then you have access to the inner louvres of your heater. A lot of dust collects here, which means that the heating performance of the heater is not optimal. Now you can vacuum away all the small dust particles at the top. But you still can't really get to the inside of the heater. But there are two really ingenious tricks for this. For the first, you need a conventional hairdryer. You can now use this to blow the air down here and thus also all the dust that has got stuck in here. But an even better solution is a radiator brush. Thanks to its length, you can use it to get completely inside the louvres. It is specially designed for this, and you can push this part through from the top to the bottom, pushing all the dust through to the bottom. All you have to do is vacuum it away at the end and everything is clean again. And the inside of your heater is really nice and clean. This means that it can now provide optimum heating performance and you won't consume unnecessary amounts of energy. As I said, simply vacuum away all the dust at the bottom. I linked to a radiator brush in the video description. Now all you have to do is reassemble the heater as you dismantled it before, and you can use it without any problems and have cleaned it really well on the inside. But that's not all. There are other tricks that you really need to know. For example, if you want to save a little on heating costs, you can lower the water temperature. However, you should never set it below 55 degrees Celsius. If you're unsure about any of the settings here, be sure to check the operating functions of your heating system or ask a heating engineer. It is also important that you insulate all heating pipes that are warm. So touch all the heating pipes in your cellar or where the heating is located. And if you find any that are warm but not insulated, you should make sure that you insulate them very well. You can get the insulating material for this at any DIY store. Another genius function is to set the timer rooms for the heating or hot water. Here you can set exactly on which day the heating should be on and off, as well as the hot water, because you probably don't need hot water in the middle of the night. And so you can really save a lot of energy by switching off these times so that no hot water is pumped into your pipe. And you don't lose so much energy because the heating has to run constantly to heat the water. For the whole thing to work properly, however, it is important that you have set the time on your heating system to the correct curing time. This is the only way to ensure that the times you set here when it should be switched off or on are accurate. If you are unsure, simply refer to the operating instructions for your heating system. If you switch on your heater system and it gurgles or makes strange noises, then you should definitely bleed it. Because if there is too much air in the system, a lot of heating power is lost and the heating system will not heat up properly. To do this, you should set all the heating valves to the highest setting. You should now switch off your main heating completely. Now wait for an hour, as the air should now settle at the top during this time. And now you can bleed your individual radiators to get all the air out of the system. To bleed the heating system, you will need a bleed spanner. You can also simply use a screwdriver. Now go to this point that you can see here and slowly turn the whole thing on. You should also keep a bowl, as a lot of water will now come out of this small hole. But the first thing to come out is all the air we have in the system. You should keep doing this until water comes out of here, because then you will have perfectly vented this radiator. Then do the same with all the other radiators in your home. Once you have done everything, you should now check your heating system to see whether the water pressure is still high enough. Be sure to check your operating instructions to see how much water pressure you need and top up the water if necessary. Now I have an ingenious bonus trick for you. It won't save you a lot of money, but it has other advantages. If you eat oranges or lemons, you should never throw the peel in the bin, but keep it instead and cut it into smaller pieces, as you can see here. Now grab a small bowl and put the peel from the orange or lemon in it. You'll also need some water. We want to add enough water so that the peels are just underwater. And now we go to our heater and put the whole thing on the heater. The advantage of this is that when we switch on the heating now, we have a really nice fresh lemon or orange scent throughout our home. Of course, you can also put the whole thing on your stove, if you have one. Would you also like to know why you should definitely wrap a bag around your shower head? Then take a look at the video linked on the screen now, where I show you how.